Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. It's June 15th. Here we go. Updated the ADPs for best ball, FFPC, best ball slim. Dennis and I talked about this on the latest podcast, Science Fantasy Football podcast, and he and I both dealt with this data, had comments, but I thought I'd do a separate one because I got more information I wanted to hit. Just kind of step through this if you're playing best ball right now. So what you see here is 2 points in time, June 12th, May 24th. You have the position, you have the rounds 1 to 20, and you have the number of that position drafted using ADP. So we're just trying to get a feel for positional patterns. Again, I've gone through this multiple times. Top-down approach. You need to know what's the temperature of water before you go in. If you're just jumping right in and not giving any thought to anything, I understand you might think, well, I'm being adaptive and I'm, looking around. Look, adaptive to me means that you're aware of what could be there, what's on the map, where the potholes might be, and you deal with it accordingly. What's the patterns? Okay. And then you make finer decisions at that point, not just going in blindly and, in a minefield and marching around, hope you don't step on something. I mean, again, this is my process. So, looking for things that have changed. And here's the actual numbers. You can look through here, but for me, this next figure catches the shortcut of it all. We have the June 12th, May 24th. I compressed the rounds 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, etc. And the number of position. And then I got the differences between the 3-week time point here. First 4 rounds, the big story, less wide receivers, big time more tight ends. This is tight end premium league. So whatever was going on in May, I actually enjoyed it because I didn't have to worry about tight ends until the 3rd round, if I remember right. Yeah. So back in May, 2 tight ends, Laporta and Kelsey, were taken round 3. Now we got 4 taken round 2, including Laporta and Kelsey. So now you had to move it up by a round. So this allowed me then to get a nice RB, nice WR, or mix and match, just kind of however you were wanting to play that. I understand draft pick and everything. But now the waters say that you're not going to have that luxury anymore, which is, in other words, what's going on in June is what I found last year at this time. So I was actually really surprised at the May. So depending on the outcomes, I'm thinking next year I need to remember this, because if I do well having this kind of shift, I want to be down with best ball before the shift happens, right? If my beta testing worked. In other words, I did 10 in late May. Okay, so I'm going to watch and see my outcome, my rate of return. And of course, I'm in the process of doing my what we call second wave beta test, June 12th. And so, just when you think you're going to change one variable, and that's the ultimate way to do an experiment. Multiple variables change, so that confounds me a little bit, but I just, snap back and say, okay, this is just, kind of what I have to deal with, and I proceed accordingly here, and so forth. Rounds 5 to 8, to me, not a lot happening. I do note the tight ends moved up a little bit, so the two that were down in 5th, 6th round moved up into the first 4. Okay, so you could see that shift. Quarterbacks moved up a little bit as well. A little bit interesting, not dramatic. The big surprise I had was rounds 9 to 12. RBs had moved up. We had 12 in late May, 18. So you had to if you loved some of these guys, right? These 3rd, 4th, 5th RB types, you couldn't wait till round 13, 14, etc. You're having to make moves earlier. So again, I had to make moves earlier. Okay, so I did, but I like to know that. I don't like to be surprised. Another big thing, where did this +6 go? Because the wide receivers dropped. So early in May or late May, WRs were dominating. I mean, first 12 rounds, and we see people become a little bit more cautious about it, and we're mining in other positions. So the WRs I was having to reach for, most likely, there's my dogs going nuts, go get them. I could wait a little bit. So I was anticipating some interesting pickups 13 to 16 by this. And notice that some of the late round WRs shifted from back from here to there. So again, you had a shift. So the people that were the sharp dogs that were here, must have changed their mind because something shifted. So we're thinking, plan accordingly now. So it looks like earlier tight ends, earlier RBs here, earlier and WRs that I was taking here can take here. I think that's the 3 takeaways. There's probably some other things, and the good news, I'm showing you the data. You can figure it out. Okay, next. As you know, I like to visualize the ADPs for the draft type I'm interested in. Here's the latest ADP, looking at wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, QBs, and there are the, since tight end premium, here's Laporta, Kelsey right here, Kincaid, I don't know who else is there, Pitts maybe, Kincaid, Andrews. So it looks like, whereas previously in late May, these guys were the show, it looks like people have moved up on this. So you may have had some more value in those tight ends in May, and that value disintegrated here. That's how I'm reading it. Okay. And it looks like these 5 were being declared as all contenders for tight end 1. Whereas this guy and that guy a little bit later. So they're not quite the strong contenders. So if you like these 2, then you're getting, you continue to get some value there. The first 12 WRs are gone. You could see my little red line here shows they're gone by the end of round 2. So if you want a top 12, you're going to have to pick one in the first 2 rounds. RBs, if you want a top 12, you can wait till round 3. But, you may miss out on tight ends. So it looks like the majority is WR, maybe a tight end. Maybe there's 0 RBing. I'm not sure. There's more WRs here. There's 5 versus 4 here. Your first quarterback, Allen, is going here as well. So if you like Hurts over Allen, you can wait till the 4th round. So you could get a WR, tight end, RB, and quarterback right there, the second one. So you could really have a nice variation here of what you got. The weakness would be the RB. So you need to decide, look at your diary. Are you better at WRs or RBs? Okay. Historically, if you look at my lesson plans, ADP versus end of the season, I think went back to 2015. Public says WR, RB. That's their preference. Okay. Of the two. That's where they're going. Okay. I'll have these figures. I'm not going to hit everything here. A lot of data here. This is our actual cheat sheet. Has all our metrics. Dennis and I are using our weekly tools. And there's lots of background. First time you've heard me, seen me, heard about weekly tools. I think, long story short, we support using weekly scoring concepts versus end of the season. As Dennis says, this is not rotisserie baseball. Okay, so it's a weekly game. How do you deal with it? Dennis and I are beta testing 5 metrics. Mine are the COM, and Dennis called it the Bush figure. Dennis has weekly value by percent, most valuable player percent. This is to the high side, weekly, and best. So we have 5 metrics. There's some agreement, but there's not agreement. Again, beta testing means that we have not decided what's what. It may be another year or two before we declare a winner, and it may be groups of winners. Traditionally, we have multiple data streams. You're probably getting some overlap. Statistically, part of principal component analysis is looking at these data streams and seeing which streams are telling you pretty much the same information, which ones are more unique. Doesn't mean which ones are more accurate, just where's the uniqueness, and then does that lead to more success, right? So there's lots of different layers here. But just to slap out last year's end of the season, and I know a lot of pundits do, that's fine. If they can work it and make it work, great. We're just going a different direction. And having been successful, it's been many a year that I haven't made positive gains in my bankroll in fantasy here. I'm satisfied by experimentation here. Okay, so we have, this is FFPC ADP's, the best ball, and we have the rank, RK, ADP. This is the round. Draft pick. This column comes in later, but if you have pick 1, most likely you're grabbing McCaffrey. I know not everybody does, but this is just, kind of public averages. Position, I have colorized here so you can kind of see. No quarterbacks first 2 rounds, okay. Team, the bye. Positional ranking, okay. What is the consensus of the player by its position? CMC, number 1, RB. Lamb, number 1. Laporta's number 2. Kelsey, number 1. Okay, so that's just how the public's seeing it here. Okay, Scaled projections here. I've modified, tweaked a little bit, my little trick or two on pro projections, but you can get kind of a C. Obviously, higher numbers, the more overall points is predicted. And then here's our weekly tools. My COM data is counts over median. How many weeks out of 17 did a player hit the median level for the position or not? Okay, that's way different than an end of the season. Okay, green means the top tier, yellow second tier, and white is third tier. So 88%, so roughly 90%. CMC, 90% of the weeks. So what is that? 9 and 6. 15 weeks out of 17, he was above the RB median. That's pretty damn strong. CeeDee Lamb, 82%. Look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, 81. Yet he's being drafted down here in 7th. So my metrics would say take him over Tyreek Hill if COM is what we're doing. People are happy with Puka and Jefferson. I see them the same. So just whichever one you want to take. Strength of schedule could be a way to a tie break. Bush figure is a scoring week where all positions are compared week by week, and just see did they come up in the top group or not. 100% of the time CMC was up there, CeeDee Lamb up there as well. Chase was a little weak, folks. Jefferson a little weak. Garrett Wilson, weakness. So you're saying, well, how do you deal with that? The COM says this. That's why we're doing a beta test, because I don't know right now. Let's just say seeing week and week, again, relative to the first 2 rounds, it doesn't endear me to that player. Doesn't mean I won't take them, but it concerns me. In other words, Chase versus Brown, I'm taking Brown. That kind of thing. Puka versus Jefferson, I'm probably taking Puka if I'm just looking at my 2 figures. And then Dennis has his figures, and you see there's some variation. And in fact, you're saying, well, isn't that bad? Shouldn't they all say, no, that's good, because variation is the spice of life, and it allows us to find information. Maybe, let's just say the MVP is best at quarterbacks, weakest at wide receivers. Very intriguing if that's the case. Maybe it's the flip. We are testing. It may be another year or 2 before we're going to do with that. And I assure you, at least what I've seen, I don't know if any of your pundits out there, sites are doing beta testing and showing it. I don't know. I'd be real worried if I was paying a site and I was relying on their rankings. I'd want to know that it'd gone through the mill versus just their say so. I want to see some data. Right now, I'm just throwing this out a little bit. I've actually done background on the COM. I've got lesson plans. You could look at historical failure success of the COM. You could see what that means. There are some successes. There's some goodness in the COM data. I've done that. It's in my lesson plan videos. I suggest you become one with it. I'm just warning you. I would waste my time if they're just flopping something out there and you know, where is this? Okay. I don't know. You're saying, well, Dr. Bush, how come they hadn't come to you? I don't know. ESPN, what are you doing? Okay. You could hire me for a nice salary. Come on. I'll turn your data folks around. At least here's what I'll do. Day one, I'd start asking questions. This. First thing, you don't you don't go in saying, I'm going to do that. No, no, no. What's the questions? Okay, that's what it's saying. We're trying to develop questions that can be tested. Folks, that's how you need to do it. That's why I have a thing about your draft diary. Okay? Do you know what you're best at? Is dynasty your forte? Is redraft your forte? Is, I don't know, some of these other, best ball your forte? Why would you put your money where you're poor at? Okay? You know, if you're not good at best ball, don't play it or play it very low and try to get better. Okay? But if you don't know that, then you're just making the same mistakes over and over again. Insanity, I believe it's called. Anyway, there you go. That's an example. I'll have these figures. I asked Dennis, should we flip this out to the public? Since we don't have a lot of folks following, that's fine. I don't think I'm going to mess up my business at all, because I got a lot of things for you to think about, and people just want the answer today. They want it all on a plate, heated, ready to go, and that's not what we're doing. So anyway, here's rounds 3 and 4, and you can have that first quarterback here, Josh Allen. He got a 76 comm. Hurts got an 82. So I'm drafting a lot more. If I'm taking it early, I'm going Hurts slightly over Allen. And even my Bush figure supports that choice. Holmes is third. He's got a 31 and a 64. Lamar Jackson, 50, 71. I'm probably, probably going Jackson. If I'm taking one of the four, probably not taking one in the 4th round. I'm probably taking an early 1-2, or if I can't get the top 2, then I'm probably waiting. Okay? And waiting until about the 7th round, actually. Take a look right here. So I'm currently in my best ball. I'm doing 10 beta testing, and I will pick one of these 4 here, and we'll go into who these are. Here is the breaks. So the last WR2s are gone by round 5. WR3's gone by round 7. Okay. Tight end, first 12 gone by pretty much round 5, 6, 7. So if you want a top 12 tight end, you're going to have to make a move. And the public's saying the 12th, you might as well wait longer, because there's no use in spending here, because this one looks as good as that one. So you need to have a strategy as well. Here's the RBs. So RBs, the 24 RBs are gone by round 7. So you have an opportunity to select a second tier RB, and you have plenty of time to do it. It won't be in the 7th round for me, because I'm probably in the next 10 best balls, I'm going to take a quarterback here. But 6th round got me intrigued. Maybe 5th. Don't know. Okay. Just to see what you're going to do at that point. Since I am going to do a 7th round guy, my 7th round folks are Burrow, Murray, Prescott, and Love. 41, Dak, 53, 50, Murray, 40, Burrow. Here's the Bush figure because he got hurt. Dak, 78, Love's 85. So I'm liking Dak and Love better than Murray, Burrow. Dennis would argue Burrow over Dak. That's fine. Maybe we'll see. He would argue Burrow over Dak here, and he would flip a coin probably with his best as well. So that means that he'll probably have a lot more Burrow than I will. I'll probably be defaulting to Prescott. If I miss, then, and I mean, Burrow probably would be gone at that point. So then if it's Love, Purdy, Daniels, I'm not taking Daniels. Purdy is 50, 78, 40, 85. I'm probably flipping a coin, probably taking Purdy. If I can't get Dak, I don't know if I may take Love, but I may wait, even take Purdy at this point. Okay. So again, looking at the quarterbacks, 4 are taken there. So 12 are taken by the end of round 8. So round 9, you have a little bit of time on some of these guys. And let's track the quarterbacks here. Goff is at 35.64. Lawrence 19.64. Tua 24. Herbert 54. 51. I'm probably if I don't take Purdy, I probably want to target Herbert for my second quarterback. It wouldn't surprise me in this best ball. I grab Dak and maybe come back with Herbert. Cousins has me intrigued. Let's see who else. Yeah, probably Cousins. Maybe Stafford. Got a 50 here. Maybe. Okay. And again, just getting the landscape. I'm not going to go into so much detail. Because what I do, if I have a question, I can pull this up real quick. And for my hunting here. Looking at the deep round, 17 to 20 here. Is there anything of big interest? Justin Fields does step out to me. If you think he has a shot, he might be a good third. Okay. Com-wise, as far as tight ends, Meyer, Tuck, Kraft, they're about the same. They're my third. I'll probably even waiting further. Nothing really here. There's just, I'm probably taking some rookie RBs at this point. The 20th, I am interested in Zach Ertz right here just because of that com figure there. 30% of the time, Zach Ertz, when he played, he was getting above median. That's pretty good for a third. Who else has got my interest? I do like Bourne, way down the 20th round. 25% com. That intrigues me. Who else? I guess if I need a fourth quarterback, Minshew, I don't know. Kind of getting lean. Notice the rookies. You're almost being forced into grabbing some rookies here because you're like, what's out there? There's a few that I am interested in. Boyd mildly interests me if I don't get Bourne, but I'm not. I mean, it's the 20th round. What are you expecting here? So, okay. What else? What's time? 28 minutes. Goodness. Okay. If you look at draft picks, and I asked the question, if everybody was on autopilot, what positions would you grab in each draft pick? What's the average tendency that each draft pick gives you as far as positions? And it is different. For instance, draft pick 1, people would end up with 7 tight ends. I know they won't, but I'm just saying. Notice rounds 2 and 3. It picks 2 and 3. 3. 7 and 8, 2. My conclusion from that is I want to remember that naturally it's a little tight end thin. in those, especially maybe later. Round 7 and 8 tend to be WR strong, even 11. Okay, the weakest are 9, 4, 2, and 1. RBs, 2, 3, 4, and 8, 11, 12. Not bad, but 2 and 3 are really interesting. Quarterbacks, 5th, 9th, 12th, and 2nd, and maybe really 1. So, versus thinness in 3rd, 6th, 7th, 8th, 11th. I present this just for some thinking, okay? Not to follow any of this. This is just for you to put in your diary, just to kind of, just to put you on edge a little bit if you're thinking about a second quarterback or a second tight end, and depends on what your draft pick is. Just be aware you may have to reach a little bit in certain draft picks. I haven't seen this concept before out there. I'm sure it's maybe out there, but I don't know. You're saying, well, what am I paying money for? I don't know. What are you paying your money for? You tell me. If we look at draft pick and projections, if you look at average projections for draft picks, 2, 4, 12 and 10 seem to be the best. 8 is the weakest. Doesn't mean that's how it's going to be, but there it is. Just something for you to see. Strongest RBs tend to be around pick 1. Of course, you're getting CMC. Pick 2 RBs, so you're getting Bijan probably if you jump in. Pick 4. Pick 10. Tight ends, 3rd, 12th. Okay. WRs, 2nd, 8th. Quarterbacks, 2nd, 10th, 12th, maybe, 4th. Again, just a tendency based on current ADPs. Okay. And let's see what else. Oh, and I just threw Dennis's MVP metrics. What is the average MVP for each pick? For quarterback, looks like optimum there. In Dennis's picking system, you would land automatically at one of the best quarterbacks in the 6th pick. Okay. 9th is pretty good. RBs, obviously CMC 1. 10th is not bad. Tight ends looks like 3rd. WRs looks like 2nd and 3rd and 5th. This is just for you to kind of scratch in your map. You're going to war, folks. You need to understand what the campaign potentially could give you. What are the average outcomes? And, some people are going to auto draft. Some people are just going to look at the first 2 or 3 names that pop up in these, draft queues. They say, oh, here's the top 3 that you pick from. I don't know how people do. I don't use that. I'm using my metrics, but some people. And you're saying, what about deep in the draft? And there's, I'm just reaching around. I'm probably going for a rookie upside, just hope. I mean, at the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, probably taking Zach Ertz as my 3rd. But other than that, I probably got my quarterbacks, probably got a nice selection of RBs and WRs. I'm just kind of seeing what's out there, and it may be rookies at that point. You hope that they ascend into some type of usable weekly scoring situation. Okay, this is am I done? I think I'm done. Yay. Okay, so I didn't go into a lot of detail. I made this stuff. I don't need to go into detail. I got it. I'm going to post it on our site. you guys can listen to this as well. I've given you a lot of things to think about. This is the time to think and plot your strategy while your league mates are playing baseball and swilling beer. Okay, good luck. I'll have more lesson plans coming. Dr. Bush for the process, for the science of fantasyfootball.com. Check out the site that I hang at, and we'll see you next time. Study hard. Let's crush this year.